75 years hence, Budapest was liberated, and so has whole of Europe have been liberated from the Nazi regime. My memories of the day are still with me as if it was yesterday. I was only 9 years old. I weighed 3.5 stone. I lost all my hair. I had pleurisy on both sides of my lungs, and I was so weak. We were starving. I couldn't stand. And of course, for the last few days, Budapest was pounded with bombs. Day and night, for the last 4 years, the bombing never stopped. We were, all of us in that cellar, so frightened. We lost all hope, and we really didn't think that we would ever come out alive. Because everything, it was carpet bombed. The noise, we already have been hiding in a derelict cellar, so it was already ruins. But it was still, even the ruins were shaking through this constant pounding of the bombs. And then suddenly, through the noise of the bombs, there was a knock on the wall, and bit by bit every brick was taken out, because Budapest was built on catacombs. So all underground of whole of Budapest, everything was connected to each other, of course, like Rome. And then suddenly the first person who came through was this Russian soldier. First of all, everybody had a shock. We just didn't know what is happening, but one of them came, and then many of them came. And of course, the first thing that I can remember was this Russian cap with this little red star on it, and a big smiling face, opening his arms, and says, "Здравствуйте," which means hello. And then 5 or 10 or how many came, and about the 10th person, the soldier who came through the opening, was my mother's brother. And he found us. He was also in a concentration camp. We were separated, and they took him to Poland. And he was an electrician, so they used him. He was working in the concentration camp as an electrician. And then he managed to escape into the woods and joined the partisans. And then he joined the Russian army, volunteered, because he also spoke Hungarian, so he became an interpreter in the Russian army. So he was amongst the first people who liberated Budapest. And he found out where we were, and it was a miracle that he was amongst the first 10, 15 liberators, the Russians, who came to find us. So you understand why, in my memory, it was the Russian army who liberated us. And not that I'm not grateful for everybody else, but primarily that was my first meeting, and that was the very first understanding what was happening, because it took few moments to all of us to realize that people didn't come to kill us, but these soldiers who forced themselves through the wall, they were actually our liberators. When you have spent 9 months in a cellar and you had hardly any food, anybody in uniform came to kill you. So we didn't stand there straight away with open arms. Contrary, we hid even further because we were petrified. Who on earth are these people who scream "Здравствуйте"? Anyway, that's a lovely, lovely saying. "Здравствуйте" means hi. And that's the day, and that smiling face, and that little 5-cornered red star is always going to be in my mind, because They gave us back our lives. They have sacrificed their own lives, and of course all the allies, the Americans, the English, the French, the Italians, everybody came after. But my first picture was the Russian soldier. And you live with it, and it's 75 years hence. But you really can never ever completely forget it. And you do realize how precious life is, and every day. And then you realize that how few of us are left. And you think about it, how many people have been murdered, killed, and for what? But I'm one of the lucky ones, obviously, because I have been saved. And of course I am dedicating my life to have public talks and to talk to people and to make them realize that they have to stop it, that this must never, ever, ever happen again, this anti-Semitism. And it was not just anti-Semitism, everybody was killing everybody. When you think about it, how many lovely young people have died just because they were on the wrong side of the border. And those people who died for our freedom so that we can be here now and live. And of course now, despite of the coronavirus, we are still being better off now than we were then in 45, I can assure you. And it also shows, particularly it comes to the foreground, the camaraderie that has been during the war in England and also now, and how situations like after the war and during the war, how kind and how people became like family and how caring people are. And this is manifesting itself now as well. Of course, I never dreamt that I would be ending my last few years here in Eastbourne. And I couldn't have chosen any better, and I'm very happy and I feel very privileged. Not only that I have survived, and just thank you so much to all those people who sacrificed their young lives for all of us near, but that I ended up in Eastbourne. And I really love it here, this beautiful seafront. I take a walk every day when I can. And it is a very special day to be able to say thank you to life and to freedom.